Hello, very good morning. Today in this class we are going to see random access memory and types of RAMs, SRAM and DRAM. So this is subtopic of system board and mass storage devices under the subject computer hardware and system administration. So first we will see what is meant by random access memory and what are the types of RAMs we have. So our topic is random access memory, RAM and RAM types, SRAM and DRAM. So what is the RAM first? Random access memory, its RAM stands for random access memory, is a type of data storage used in computers that is generally located on the motherboard. So RAM is always located on the motherboard. This type of memory is volatile and all information that was stored in RAM is lost when the computer is turned off. So random access memory is also called temporary memory inside the computer where the information is stored temporarily. It means when you switch off the computer, all the information will be lost in the RAM. So RAM is used only temporary purpose. But speed of the RAM is somewhat fast and very fast when compared to the secondary storage memory. The RAM is generally in the form of semiconductor devices that is called chip. It is also called integrated chip. And this RAM chip may be individually mounted on the motherboard or in sets of several chips on a small board connected to the motherboard. So directly the RAM chips may be soldered and mounted on the motherboard itself. This technology was old. In the older days, in the earlier days, the RAM was directly mounted on the motherboard. And there was no chance of expansion of RAM in those days. The size of the RAM was 640 kilobytes in those days, and the RAM was in the form of integrated circuits and thus were mounted and soldered on motherboard itself. Now the RAM is coming in the form of RAM sticks. Those RAM sticks can be inserted on the RAM slots available on the motherboard at present. The random access memory is the internal memory of the CPU for storing data, program and program result. It's a read-write memory which stores data until the machine is working. As soon as the machine is switched off, the data is erased. The access time in a RAM is independent of the address, that is, each storage location inside the memory is as easy to reach as other locations and takes the same amount of time. Data in the RAM can be accessed randomly, but it is very expensive. The access time is nothing but what is meant by access time here. Generally, we store the information in the RAM and retrieve the information whenever we require. The time required to locate the space inside the memory to store the data, and also time required to reach the location in the memory to get the required information. It is access time. If the access time is very less, we can say the memory is very fast. If the access time is more, we can say the memory is very slow. So in case of random access memory, the access time is very good and very less. So that's why we can read the information, write the information very fast. So older memory types were in the form of chips called dual inline package chips. Although DIP chips are still used today, the majority of memory is in the form of a module, a narrow printed circuit board attached to a computer attached to a connector on the motherboard. So there are main memory circuit board types containing chips are SIMS single inline memory modules, DIMMs dual inline memory modules, and RIMS rhombus inline memory modules. So most motherboards today use DIMMs dual inline memory modules. So this early RAM was coming in the form of DIP switches, DIP chip, dual inline package. So this was used to store the information, and it is used as RAM, which was soldered directly on the motherboard, which was mounted on the directly on the motherboard. This is another DIP chip, which was directly soldered on the motherboard to store the information temporarily. That was called as RAM. So this RAM is on the form of SIMs. These are also called RAM sticks, and these are individual integrated circuits mounted on the small circuit board, printed circuit board, and this printed circuit board directly can be inserted on the motherboard on the provided RAM slots on the motherboard. And this is the edge connector. Here this is called edge connector. Here also this is called edge connector. And these SIMs can be inserted directly on the SIM slots, the RAM SIM slots on the motherboard itself. So the RAM in the form of DIMMs here, these are all the integrated circuits where information can be stored, and these DIMMs can be inserted on the DIMM slots, DIMM RAM slots on the motherboard, which are provided on the motherboard. And these are RAM on the in the form of RIM, ROMOS inline memory module, and these RIMs also may be inserted on the RAM slots, RIM RAM slots on the motherboard, which are provided. So what was the history of RAM? The first form of RAM came about in the 1947 with the use of the William tube. It utilized a CRT cathode ray tube. The data was stored on the face as electrically charged spots. The first form of RAM came about in the 1947 with the use of William tube. It utilized CRT tube. The data was stored on the face as electrically charged spots. The second widely used form of RAM was magnetic core memory, invented in 1947. Frederick Way is credited with much of the work, having filed for several patents relating to the design. Magnetic core memory works through the use of tiny metal rings and wires connecting to each ring. One bit of data could be stored per ring and accessed at any time. However, RAM, as we know today, is what we are using today. It's a solid state memory. Was first invented in the year 1968 by Robert Dennard, known specifically as dynamic random access memory or DRAM. Transistors were used to store bits of data. This is a brief history of RAM here. So when we continue to see, the William tube is a storing device for a data and CRT cathode used with early computer. This was the Williams tube used to store the data in the form of electricity charges. The second widely used form of RAM was magnetic core memory, invented in the year 1947. Frederick Way is credited with much of the work, having filed several patents relating to design. Magnetic core memory works through the use of tiny metal rings and wires connecting to each ring. One bit of data could be stored per ring and accessed at any time. These are the metal rings, the magnetic core memory composed of metal rings to store the data. The RAM is today is a solid state memory, was first invented in 1968 with Robert Dennard, known specifically as dynamic random access memory or DRAM. Transistors were used to store bits of data. So this was the first dynamic random access memory by Intel 1103E, the first RAM chip introduced in the year October 1970. Inventors of RAM: Robert Dennard, J. Forrester, Wang, and Kenneth Olsen. So this was the first RAM, DRAM chip. So is a great Robert Dennard. Here this is a RAM cell drawn by him, which was containing transistor and capacitor. The circuit schematic diagram, this one. So if you see the types of RAM, there are two main types of RAM: dynamic random access memory or dynamic RAM, and next one is static random access memory. It is also called SRAM. The RAM in most personal computer PCs is dynamic RAM. All dynamic RAM chips coming on DIMMs, SIMs or RIMs have to refresh every few milliseconds by rewriting the data onto the module. And these are called modules. DIMMs, SIMs and RIMs are called modules. Here we see this another type of RAM, static RAM. Static RAM is volatile memory and is often used in cache memories and registers because it is a lot faster and does not require refreshing like dynamic RAM. So when we compare static RAM and dynamic RAM, static RAM is very faster than dynamic RAM. SRAM retains information. It is able to operate at higher speeds than DRAM because DRAM is a lot cheaper than SRAM. It's common to see pieces manufactured with DRAM. The word static indicates that the memory retains its contents as long as power is being supplied. However, data is lost when the power gets down due to volatile in nature. SRAM chips use a matrix of 6 transistors and no capacitors. Transistors do not require power to prevent leakage, so SRAM need not be refreshed on a regular basis. There is extra space in the matrix, hence SRAM uses more chips than DRAM for the same amount of storage space, making the manufacturing cost higher. SRAM is thus used like cache memory and has very fast access. Because SRAMs are very fast access in nature, that's why the SRAMs are used as cache memories. Generally, cache memory is established between CPU and also CPU and RAM. The static RAM is a type of semiconductor memory that uses bistable latching circuitry, that is called flip-flop, and stores data using a starting method in which the data remains constant as long as electric power is supplied to the memory chip. This is the specialty of static RAM. So we can see the static RAMs here. Type of static RAMs. The word static indicates that the memory retains its content as long as power is being supplied. The characteristics of static RAM is a long life, no need to refresh, faster memory, used as cache memory, large in size, expensive, and higher power consumption. These are the characteristics of static RAM. For static RAM, there is no need to refresh. It is faster accessing and it is also long life. So these static RAMs are used as cache memories. Next type of RAM is dynamic RAM. Dynamic RAM is memory that needs refreshing. The refreshing is done by the memory controller, which is part of the chipset on the motherboard. Static RAM does not need refreshing and is used in memory cache on the central processing unit CPU. It's called L1, L2, and L3 caches. Originally, SRAM was stored on the motherboard. Later, SRAM was inside of the CPU housing or stored on both the motherboards and inside of the CPU. As SRAM is being used as cache memory, the SRAM was stored on the motherboard. Later, the SRAM was inside of the CPU housing, or now sometimes stored in both the motherboard and also inside of the CPU, thus enhancing the processing speed of a computer, nothing but CPU. Dynamic RAM, unlike SRAM, must be continuously refreshed in order to maintain the data. This is done by placing the memory on a fresh refresh circuit that rewrites the data several hundred times per second. DRAM is used for most system memory as it is cheap and small when compared to the SRAM. All DRAMs are made up of memory cells, which are composed of one capacitor and one transistor. So dynamic RAM contains the two components, capacitor and transistor. DRAM is a type of random access memory that stores each bit of data in a separate capacitor within an integrated circuit representing binary 1 with a full charge and 0 with no charge. Because of the design, these cells must be refreshed with new electricity for every few milliseconds for the memory to keep holding its data. So the capacitor, by nature itself, it needs refreshing. So that's why the DRAM requires a refresh with new electricity for every few milliseconds. These are the DRAM modules or DRAM sticks. So DRAM is one of the most commonly found RAM modules in PC compatible personal computers and workstations. It stores its information in a cell containing a capacitor and transistor. Because of the design, these cells must be refreshed with new electricity few milliseconds for the memory to keep holding its data. DRAM was first invented and patented by Damar Dennard in 1968. It was released by Intel in October 1970. DRAM, unlike SRAM, must be continuously refreshed in order to maintain the data. This is done by placing a refresh circuit and rewrites the data several hundred times per second. So DRAM is used most system memory as it is cheap and small. Dynamic random access memory, a transistor and capacitor are paired to create a memory cell which represents a single bit of data. What DRAM contains is a memory cell. The memory cell is composed of a transistor and capacitor. The capacitor holds a bit of information, a 0 or a 1. The transistor acts as a switch that lets the control circuitry on the memory chip read the capacitor and change its state. The capacitor is like a small bucket that is able to store electrons. To store 1 in the memory cell, the bucket is filled with electrons. To store 0, it is emptied. So we are using capacitors and transistors in the dynamics random access memory as a memory cell to store digital data, either 0 or 1. So the transistor is acting as a switch that the circuitry and the memory chip read the capacitor and change its state. So the transistor is acting like a switch to change its state, read the capacitor and change its states. So as capacitor is working like a bucket to store electrons. So bucket is filled with electrons to store 1 in the memory cell. If you want to store 0, that must be emptied. Nothing but we have to remove the electrons from the memory cell. So the problem with the capacitor's bucket is that it has a leak. In the matter of few milliseconds, a full bucket becomes empty. So it is nature of the capacitor. So it becomes empty for every few milliseconds. Therefore, by dynamic memory to work, either the CPU or the memory controller has to come along and recharge all of the capacitors holding a 1 before the discharge. So for this reason, the dynamic RAM requires refreshing with new electricity for every few milliseconds. Whereas in static RAM, there is no need of refreshing; it contains only transistors. So to do this, to recharge this with the new electricity, the memory controller reads the memory and writes it right back. This refresh operation happens automatically thousands of times per second. This is the drawback of DRAM as it requires a refreshing for every few milliseconds. That's why dynamic random access memory used as normal main memory, whereas static memory used as cache memory inside the computers. Here are the characteristics of dynamic RAM memory. It's a short data lifetime. Its DRAMs need to be refreshed continuously and slower as compared to SRAM. It is slower accessing rate compared to static RAMs. And these random access memory was maximum used as random access memory. A RAM is nothing but primary memory inside the computer. These are smaller in size and DRAMs are very less expensive and DRAMs are also consume very less power. And we will watch another video on this DRAM and all the RAMs and types of RAMs. We will see the different types of RAM here. DDR1 400, DDR2 800, DDR3 1600, DDR4 2133. There are different types of RAMs available now. Different types of DRAMs we will see now. So the most important component in the computer is RAM, primary component. It is used primary memory inside the laptop or personal computer or cell phone or smartphone or video games, etc. So random access memories have two types: static RAM and dynamic RAM. Static random access memory, dynamic random access memory. If you see the static RAM, compare the static RAM and dynamic RAM, the usage of the memory is the static RAM is used as cache memory and dynamic RAM is used as main memory. The speed of the static RAM is very fast and dynamic RAM, speed of the dynamic RAM is somewhat slower than static RAM. It is of course fast. So cost of the static RAM is very costly and cheaper than SRAM, and density of static RAM is low and density of dynamic RAM is high. This is a comparison between static RAM and dynamic RAM. So when you see the types of RAMs here, based on the speed, bandwidth, packaging standards, and applications of the DRAM, we can categorize the dynamic RAM here based on the speed and bandwidth, packaging standards, and applications where we use. So dynamic synchronous RAM, the another RAM is generally DRAM is asynchronous RAM. So RAM is not synchronized with the CPU clock here. When working with the CPU, here the RAM is not synchronized with the CPU clock. That's why it's called asynchronous RAM. Whereas SD RAM is synchronous DRAM, it's synchronous with the CPU clock. The clock of the SRAM is RAM is synchronized with the CPU clock is the synchronous RAM. So when the CPU clock is going on, I mean there is rising edge and this is falling edge. So it's work according to the speed of the CPU clock. And SRAM, synchronous RAM, here we have two frequencies, IO clock frequency and RAM internal clock frequency. So through the memory controller, through the memory IO bus, the RAM is connected to the CPU. So here IO clock frequency is falls between 100 to 133 MHz and RAM internal clock frequency is 100 to 133 MHz. This is indicated as PC 100. This frequency is indicated as PC 133. So synchronous RAM is here indicates that PC 100. This is IO bus clock frequency is equal to 100 MHz here. So maximum bandwidth here is called 100 into 64 bits, as it is 64 bits bus, it is nothing but 8 bits, 8 bytes of data. So it's in total it is the speed of this is 800 megabits per second. So maximum bandwidth, the voltage level of this memory is 3.3 voltages. It's consuming 3.3 voltage. So synchronous RAM, CPU clock, SDRAM, single data rate SDRAM, because it transfers the data only at the raising edge, at single side only, single time only. In the raising edge only it sends the data. Whereas double data rate SDRAM, it's raising and falling edge. It sends the data in two frequencies, in raising edge, also in falling edge. It sends the data. That's why it is called double data rate. Whereas in SDRAM, the single data rate SDRAM, it sends a single bit at a time in the raising edge. Whereas in double data rate SDRAM, it sends the data two times, nothing but 2 bits at a time in the raising edge and also in falling edge. That is why it's called double data rate SDRAM. This is raising edge and the falling edge. So it's double data rates RAM are different types: DDR1, DDR2, DDR3, and DDR4. So DDR1, it's 2-bit prefetch. It's having it consumes 2.5 voltage. In DDRAM, it consumes 2.5 voltage. It requires 2.5 volts. So RAM internal clock frequency is 133 MHz and also 200 MHz, and the clock frequency is 133 MHz and also 200 megahertz of this internal clock frequency here. So bus frequency is 200 megahertz, nothing but 400 mega transfers per second, and 400 into 64 bytes, nothing but 8 bytes of data is equal to 3200 megabits per second speed. So this indicates as DDR400. So this also indicates on the PC 3200 on the indicated as PC 3200 on the. So DDR2, it is 4-bit prefetch value. Voltage level, it consumes 1.3, 1.8 voltage, 1.8 volts. And internal RAM, internal clock frequency is 100 megahertz and 200 megahertz. And here the clock frequency of the bus frequency is 200 megahertz, 400 megahertz. So data rate is in this case 400 mega transfers per second. In this case 800 mega transfers per second. So DDR, this is called DDR2 400. This is called to DDR to 800. So when you see the DDR3, so it indicates DDR3 800, PC 6400. It has 8-bit prefetch value, and the voltage level is 1.5 volts or 1.35 volts. So RAM internal clock frequency is measured in 100 megahertz and 266.6 megahertz, and the clock frequency is 400 megahertz and also 166.6 megahertz. And data rate of this in this case is 800 megatrans per second, and in this case to 2133.33 megatrans per second. So this is indicated as 6400 megabits per second, and the speed of this in this case is 70,000 megabits per second. So this is indicated as DDR3 800 and PC3 6400 RAM. So when you see the DDR4 RAM, it requires a 1.2 volts, 1.2 voltage power supply. It has 8-bit prefetch code, 8-bit prefetch code. Here the RAM internal frequency was 200 megahertz, and also it has 400 megahertz, and the clock frequency are 800 megahertz here in this case, and 600 megahertz, 1600 megahertz here. The data rate is 1600 megatransfers per second in this case, and 3200 megatransfers per second in this case. So this indicated module PC4 12,800, and this is called PC4 25,600, and this indicated as DDR4 1600 and DDR4 3200 based on the megatrans per second data rate. So this is about DDR4. So different clock frequencies and different RAM internal frequencies. So here we can see a motherboard where the RAMs are inserted like this. These are called RAM sticks. Here there are 4 RAM sticks are available. Of course, here 4 RAM slots available in this particular case of motherboard. So in this case, 4 RAM sticks or RAM modules are inserted in this case. So these are called RAM modules. These are DDR4 modules. So DDR4, this is a different voltage level 1.2 and different data rates, 1600 megatrans per second, 3200 megatrans per second, and indicated as PC4 12,800 and PC4 25,600, and the name is DDR4 1600 and DDR4 3200. So DRAM packages, we see different types of DRAM packages are there. So these DRAM packages are available in the form of first ever RAM was available in the dual inline package. This was IC integrated IC. It is called dual inline package. So this IC integrated circuit was directly soldered on the motherboard itself, and there was no chance of removal of this one, and there was no chance of expanding or extending the RAM in the older motherboards, in the older type systems. So the RAM was fixed in those days, whereas nowadays we are using the memory in the form of modules. So those modules are coming in the single inline memory module and also dual inline memory modules. So this is called single inline memory module. So to insert this memory was directly inserted. This chip was directly mounted and soldered on the motherboard. We cannot remove this particular one. Whereas these SIMs can be inserted on the RAM slots which are available on the motherboard. Depends upon the requirement and depends upon the number of RAM slots available on the motherboard. We can insert the SIMs or DIMMs or RIMs. So next one, this is a dual inline memory module. First one is the DIP dual inline package. And next one is single inline package, single inline memory module. Now this is dual inline memory module, and this can be inserted on the motherboard itself, uh, provided that the motherboard must contain the DIMM slots on it. So based on the SIM and DIMM slots, we must purchase the SIM or DIMM. So, so these are the DRAM packages. Here we can see DDR, DDR2, DDR3, DDR4, which was requiring 2.5 volts, here which was requiring 2.8 volts, and DDR3 requiring 1.5 volts, and DDR4 requiring 1.2 volts. So DDR1 was containing 184 pins on it, and DDR2 containing 240 pins on it, and DDR3 also 240 pins on it, whereas DDR4 was containing 288 pins on it. So this SODIMM, this is called SODIMM, small outline DIMMs. These are used in generally laptops and small computers. So SODIMM, small outline DIMM, SODIMM DDR double data rate 1 was having 200 pins. SODIMM DDR2 dual inline memory package memory module double data rate 2 was containing 200 pins in it, and so small outline dual inline memory module double data rate 3 was containing 204 pins on it. These were used especially in laptop computers, tablets, and small computers. And the DDR, so low power DDR, these are called low power LP DDR1, LP DDR2. These are used in small systems. And this is also called graphics DDR to enhance the graphics facility of the system, graphics facility of the computing system. Generally, we use this graphics DDR. These are also types of graphics DDR, so GDDR1, GDDR2, GDDR3, GDDR4, and also GDDR5. These are having, these are used to enhance the graphics facility of the system. These are called graphics DDR. So when we compare all these RAMs, comparison of this all DDR which we have seen. So if we compare DDR SDM standard, DDR 1, 2, 3, and 4, the year of release DDR1 is 2000, year of release DDR2 is 2003, and year of release to the DDR3 was 2007, and DDR4 was released in the year 2014. The bus clock frequency of DDR1 is 100 to 200 MHz, and in case of DDR2, this bus clock frequency is 200 to 533.33 MHz, and bus clock frequency of DDR3 is 400 to 1066.67 MHz. Whereas DDR4 speed bus clock frequency is 1066.67 to 233.33 MHz. Internal memory clock speed of DDR1 is 100 to 200 MHz, whereas DDR2 internal memory clock frequency 100 to 200 266.67 megahertz. And for DDR3, internal memory clock frequency is 100 to 266.67 megahertz. And for DDR4, the internal memory clock frequency is 133.33 to 266.67 megahertz. The fetch rate is minimum burst is 2 number of bits. There are 4 number of bits in case of DDR2, and for DDR3 and DDR4, 8 number of bits, prefetching bits. The transfer rate, mega transfer per second is 200 to 400 mega transfers per second in case of DDR1, 400 to 1066.67 mega transfer per second in case of DDR2, and 800 to 2133.33 mega transfer rate per second in case of DDR3, and in case of DDR4, 2133.33 to 4206.67 megahertz. So voltage requirement of voltage for DDR1 was 2.5 or 2.6, and DDR2 it was 1.8 volts, and for DDR3 1.5 or 1.35 volts. For DDR4 it was 1.05 or 1.2 volts. So the DIMM pins in case of DDR1 is 184 pins, whereas SO pins, small outline DIMM, was 200 pins it was having. DDR2 normal DIMM was having 240 pins, and SO DIMM was having 200 pins. For DDR3, DIMM was containing 240 pins, whereas SO DIMM containing 204 pins. And for DDR4, the DIMM was containing 288 pins in it, and SO DIMM was containing 256 pins in it. So this is about RAM types. We have discussed what is RAM, types of RAM, history of RAM, and types of RAM. In this time, static RAM and dynamic RAM. We have static RAM used for transistor to store the data. The static RAMs are used as cache memories. Dynamic RAMs are used to store the data in the form of memory cell. Memory cell is composed of transistors and capacitors. So, as the nature, the capacitor requires a frequent recharging. That's why dynamics require frequent refreshing of the cell. So generally, static RAMs are used as cache memory, DRAMs are used as main memory. This is about RAM memory. Thank you.